Hey, if you've ever wondered, how do I start a financial coaching business? Well, you know what? You've come to the right place. Over the next few minutes, we're going to talk through that. When we can live life on our terms, on a holistic level, taking into account not just our business lives, but also our health, all of our relationships, from friends, family, partners, the world changes. So when it comes to starting a financial coaching business, there's a few different things that really matter, but the primary things are these four, and this is at the start. Is first, how are you defining success for yourself? 2, how are others in the market solving the problem that you've defined as the area you want to focus on? 3, how are you going to change that? What's your value proposition going to be? And then 4, how are you going to start it? So when it talks about the mechanics of starting a business, we've got a whole separate channel for that called The Aspiring Solopreneur. You're welcome to check that out. But today we're talking more conceptually about how is it specifically for coaching you look to build on that. So you may be sitting there, well, geez, who's this grizzled old guy sitting in the woods with a beard? Well, I'm somebody who's living my life on my terms, and I have a very thriving coaching practice where I work with people all over the world. But first, I had to define what success looked like for me, and just as you do for you. So if for you it's a Maserati and a house in Malibu, fair enough, nothing wrong with that. Particularly in the financial space, you can make some pretty good money at it. But I would really encourage you to think about what is the lifestyle, what is the health, what are all the different areas that you're looking for. The last thing you want to do if you're going to start a coaching practice is to dive out of working in a job, quote unquote, out of the frying pan and into the fire, making something that's going to be harder and more challenging for you. So to start with, I would really encourage you to define what success looks like in a holistic level. And if you're like, dude, I don't know how to do that, fair enough. You can go to, we have a website, lifeonyourterms.com, lifeon-yourterms.com, and there's a tool there called the balance wheel. You can take that test, it takes about 10 minutes, gives you results, doesn't cost you anything, just your email. But with that, then you can start to define what does success look like on a holistic level. Just as in a financial case, when you first sit down with new clients, you're gonna be saying, all right, well, what are your goals? Where do you wanna be? What does success look like for you? I wanna retire with $5 million in the bank. Okay, great. We can do that. If we know where we wanna go, then we can back into figuring that out. It's the exact same thing when it comes for you to start building your coaching business in the financial space. So the first thing is for you to invest that time and energy to really define what does that look like for relationships, for your health, for the finances, for the type of work you want to be doing. You know, because the last thing, you could be like the wealthiest person on the planet. You could be crushing it, but if you're on a plane every day because all you're doing is working with family offices on the East Coast and you live in Denver, you ain't gonna be very happy. And your family is gonna be like, who is that? So making sure that you can be there to help with that is important. All right. Now the second thing is, if you decide I want to work with younger people who are doing well financially, but they may not have that level of financial savvy, okay, fair enough. The second thing is starting to figure out what is the niche that you would like to look at. And with this, how can you define that niche? Part of it is for you to step back and say, all right, well, what unique set of skills do I have? This is where the second and the third one, defining how it's being solved and what is your unique prop, you're gonna bounce back and forth on a little bit. But in essence, once you get a flavor of what you think you're doing, then I want you to pretend as if you are your target market and go out and try and solve that problem. How would you solve that problem if you needed to find a financial planner? Now, you're gonna have old guys in the industry, I'm an old guy, so I could say that are going to tell you to do things. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. But if you can start figuring out what is the best way for you to go after it, how would you solve that problem? Likely you'll start on Google. You may start on some of the social platforms. You may start on YouTube. Here. But if you start figuring out where it is, what are you trying to do? What is the problem you're solving? And see how others are doing it. Now, when you're doing this, a few key things. One, start looking at what are the keywords that keep coming up. Likely somebody's invested a bunch of money in this, so you can start figuring out what are the keywords that are coming up that you're using, but also what are the keywords that the different landing pages or social platforms or different places people are using. What are those? And start documenting it. If you start coming up with unique platforms or places where there are coaches, other places, make a list of those. Those start to help understand who's out there, how are they solving the problem, what are the key words, how are they defining the problem, making sure that you speak the language your target market is needing. Now, once you start figuring this out, it's going to start coming together. It's like, okay, I see this, I see this. So maybe I knew somebody who was a teacher who transitioned into becoming a financial planner. And in this particular case, got in with some of the pension plans associated with the teachers and was able to do exceptionally well because in his particular case, he spoke teacher, he spoke pension plans, and he also was a financial planner. So it made a unique niche that he immediately was able to establish trust with people. Now, I've known other people who realize that they're a little bit older and they're working with people who have generational wealth. And one of the big things that they're doing is they're doing a lot of financial literacy and education, and they offer this as a free component, A, because they love it and it's having a big impact, but B, their clients value it to educate and improve the understandings of how finances work, why it works for families. Now, maybe you decide, hey, I want to be somebody's full soup to nuts person, and you want to find somebody who's in the mortgage space that can really help out. Maybe somebody who can do vehicle financing. Maybe it's but if you can learn how to handle all of those things, then you're solving a niche, you're creating a niche in a little different way that people aren't currently solving. Think about what are those areas that you genuinely love. Where are the areas that you step into and do well with? If you are in one political area and you try and sell to the other political area, they're going to feel it. They're not going to like it. So how can you find those people where you can cross over and help, but use your natural skills, and how does that integrate into that? So the first step, reviewing again, first define what does success look like for you, both with your time, your talent, your treasure, your relationships. What does amazing look like for you? And then start backing into what is it you need to do. Maybe there's some certifications, maybe there's other education, higher levels, who knows what it is that'll help you become stronger with that. Then the second, how are people solving this problem now? And if it's word of mouth, which a lot of times, particularly in the financial space it is, that's okay, fair enough. But start looking at what's available out there. Try and do it in a traditional way so you're learning the language, you're learning the types of value props, and what are the things then next that you can start to do to make yours better? What are the things that are unique value props that you can add to people? What are the things that you can make it to where it's like, oh my God, I would be an idiot not to do this? To make it what I like to see as a no-brainer. So once you've gotten to that point, the next thing is going to be, how can we go out and start finding out, how do we get found? Well, in the second step, ideally you will have identified a few places that may be out there. Maybe there's some financial planning groups that are already out there. Maybe you can give some talks. Maybe you can give some free webinars. Maybe you can give some free seminars. But when it comes to getting found, initially, I really encourage people to give a lot of time and energy away, because at that point you're doing market research. And one of the key, best ways to be doing market research from my perspective is look into your existing network and actually talk to them. Now, there's a big key difference here. Sometimes when it comes to approaching our target network, particularly in the financial space, and you'll burn bridges left and right if you do this, people will say, oh yeah, well I'm going to go sell all my friends and family. And that's what some financial planners want you to do. Don't, because you're just going to burn bridges. But, so if I come to you and say, hey, yeah, we're friends, we've been friends for 20 years and I want to sell you something, immediately your skin is just like, not happy. But if we're like, dude, we've been friends for 20 years, I could use your hand. Would you give me 15 minutes of your time and give me your opinion? That's it. If I'm asking you to help, people want to help. If I'm asking you for a sale, people put on armor and they run away. So if you go to your friends, the people in your network, maybe they're associates, and say, hey, you know what, I'm looking at doing this, and this is the area that I think I would be great at. And this is a value proposition that I'm considering adding to it. What do you think? And then shut up. And remember that the good Lord gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. If you can listen twice as much as you talk in those interviews, oh my God, it's so powerful. But get them to help you figure out what your value prop should be. Now, I'm willing to bet that if you did this 50 times, 40 of them would say, yeah, I'd love to give you 10, 15 minutes. And of those 40, I bet 5 would become clients. Because like, well, what are you doing? How's that working? I love that. Or they'd at least consider it. So it's a way of very, very casually going in and getting it. But again, if they sense that you're trying to sell them, man, they will bounce out. But if they sense that you're genuinely looking for their help and doing something different, they're in. They'll do it. So the next question when you're having these conversations with people is like, okay, hey, you know what? If you were in my shoes, what would you be doing different? Is there a different value prop? And maybe you get nothing. Maybe you get a couple of good nuggets that come out of that. It's like, well, yeah, you know, if you could do this and you could offer, you know, this type of thing on top of it, God, that would be fantastic. If you could help us figure out, you know, how to save money on our insurance, and you'd help do a full audit on our, you know, anything that we have that's finance and insurance related, and you'll do an audit for us for free. And you can come back and say, yeah, you guys are doing well here, you're getting killed here. Now, you have to be good at what you do, but that's creating more of a relationship, a long-term relationship, not just a quote-unquote financial planner. So you've gone through, you've asked them for help, you've asked for their feedback. If you were in my shoes, what else would you be doing differently? Great. And then again, if you were in my shoes, where would you be marketing this? How would you get the word out on this? And then the last question is, do you know anybody who you think I should be talking to? Because I'll give them some time because they know you. Not selling them, I would love any more feedback. But if you start with that genuine approach of how can I be serving? How can I be of value? How can I help others? It's gonna grow. And then once you have this established, you can dig much, much, much deeper. And that's some of the stuff we do on Life on Your Terms, which is we offer a certification to where it helps people look at life on a holistic level. And it's one of those value props that's like, holy smokes, most people don't have that. So if you'd like to learn more about that, you're always welcome to go to our site, lifeon-yourterms.com. But we'd love to have you follow this and call in. If you have any other thoughts, please make some notes at the bottom, and we'd love to have you check out some more of our videos. Thank you. Keep smiling.